Yes, in this museum we have tirelessly recreated all three of the major time periods of history. Dinosaur, medieval, and underwater. Those are the three exhibits that this museum has. Anyway, it's time to put this Robin Hood costume to more ample use in the last level of the whole game. That's, I guess, another thing about the Robin Hood suit that bothered me, is that you only really get to use it for the last, 2 seconds of the game. But that's just my complaint with, end of the game stuff anyway, late in the game moves and stuff anyway. I always was mad at how, just because I don't think most games, especially games like these, I don't think they make enough out of the little bit of time with that move that they do. I don't know. Unless you're the SpongeBob movie game and the last move you get is the Sonic Wave Guitar, in which case they milk the fuck out of it by making a million Sonic Wave Guitar challenges that are very repetitive and difficult. But anyway, as you can see, I mentioned, I think, at one point, a very disorienting camera switch there. That's one of my bigger complaints about this game, is the camera, is just the, when it locks in place and doesn't let you move it, it can be kind of crazy. And yeah, I'm not gonna spend 10 minutes beating up those guys. But yeah, I think I mentioned that in a previous video, that was going to be a thing in one of these museum levels, was these dinosaurs, which for some reason exist in places other than the dinosaur level. I don't know why they didn't go with a cool fish man or something for this. You need to have the Robin Hood suit on for this entire level, because there are targets, and also there's no purple boys UV light that you can use. Look, a whole building. We found the White House. And so it takes a million hits to kill those dinosaur birds, because you only have the arrows, which do minimal to no damage, and then your spin attack, and they take, for some reason, 9 spin attack hits, and they can close up their wings, which if you try to hit them even on the back when they're doing that, it just kind of makes you boing away. And yeah, so the best thing you can have is them chasing you, because then they'll usually keep their wings open that entire time. And yeah, I got my ass kicked, even though I have a billion medals now, a billion hit points, on the first dinosaur, because I just tried to blitzkrieg it thinking that would work, but it kept biting me. And yeah, so that's why we have this problem. But luckily this game is fairly forgiving. I skipped through all of the, going back this way, because you had to do those floating platforms again, and, I've complained about it before in other LPs. It's the best kind of gameplay ever, is the kind that just requires you to stand and wait for a minute. Or enemies that require you to wait for them to let you attack them. And that was just pure foolishness on my part. Yeah, that's about it. But yeah, this is the underwater level, and it's kind of an overwhelming, last full level. I don't mean to spoil things, but yeah, after this we're gonna have the boss battle for the museum, and then we are going to be returning to Monsters, Fright, and Magic, which I believe I said at the beginning. But very, very briefly, I would barely count it as a level. It takes about 4 minutes to get through. It's not something like this, where, it's more of a fully realized sort of place. It's not a themed place at all. And then another boss battle, and a couple sections that are, I think there's another flying section and another sliding section or something of that nature. But again, not normal, just platforming, exploration, sort of fucking platforming. Dick emoji again. yeah, so this is the last like true blue level, and with that in mind, it's kind of disappointing because I don't know, it's a lot of extremely annoying enemies. These ones are very annoying, these electrical monsters, which also look like something that was in the show. I don't think a lot of the enemies and stuff that are in this game are also in iterations of the Scooby-Doo cartoon. Although I do not have anything close to like an encyclopedic knowledge of that. These all very well could be canonical Scooby-Doo characters. And if there's anything that the playing of this game and talking to people in the comments about Scooby-Doo stuff has done for me, it has driven home the fact that I need to do a lot more research as a self-appointed Scooby-Doo scholar. And yeah, I guess you just get those guys with the arrows is the best way to do it, because you get hurt if you touch them at all. I just kind of don't bother with them. I find it easier to just go about your merry way and not worry about it. I always forget that in most scenarios you don't actually have to, like, kill all the enemies if you don't feel like it. It's just generally a good idea because they'll give you mubber, and that is good for, you know, when you need that. But at this juncture, it's pretty okay, and you're forced to wear this Robin Hood suit the whole time anyway, so... And here, I believe, is where I try in vain to hit that third target from here, which you cannot. You have to go over there and do it. And then I miss this thing, and then I have to... I think I have to fight something. Yeah, I don't know what kind of positioning I thought would work, but then that allowed me to uncover this little area down here and get the trap piece. Again, I don't remember what the trap pieces do. And every time that I say trap piece, I think of saying the phrase trap piece to the tune of Trap Queen by Fetty Wap. But that's beside the point. I don't know how they intend you to get over here. I don't know, like, where you go down to get to this floating thing here. But there's that thing and a pepper. For your troubles, if you do go down here. I guess just go down here. Oh, alright, I didn't notice that before. Well, I mean, obviously I did when I played this level and recorded it like you're watching. And I don't know if you saw that, but I did like a double jump but without the flip, and it was like I just hovered in the air, and it was really cool. I wonder what happened. I got Robin Hood powers. The spirit of Robin Hood was infused inside my Scooby body. Oh boy, oh boy. Probably could have cut this, but why do it now? And we're already back over here anyway. Now you can see me precariously avoid this electrical monster. Well, I guess he's not really doing anything. They really do not give you a huge window of opportunity to get on this platform here. It starts moving away pretty quickly. But yeah, now I can finally hit that, and now we have all the things. This is the sort of thing, I don't know. I can't think of any SpongeBob games that have, like, projectile things as... Oh, well, no, I guess Revenge of the Flying Dutchman has the water balls with the Mermaid Man suit, so that's something. But I was just going to say that section there vaguely reminds me of something that would be in a SpongeBob game. Not that there are many... I don't know if I would say there are many types of platforming levels that are particular to or characteristic of SpongeBob games, but nothing I say makes sense, don't worry about it. So yeah, this is kind of why I don't like this level, because this ends up being like 80% of what you do is just doing these very repetitive and cumbersome fights with animals and mubber people. But yeah, let's go down the hatch. And now we have an annoying flying section. And you can't see it. You may have been able to tell because the transition wasn't quite as good there. It didn't look exactly like it does when you first start, but I cut out several bad attempts because this plane is very strange to control, and to get that cabbage, like, it's very, very difficult to actually see where these things are in 3D space, because they usually are much closer than they actually look, like that broccoli, for instance. And so they just kind of sneak up on you, and I don't know, it's just kind of... It's also hard to see, like that plane what will take up parts of the screen when they're closer to you and fuck with you. And I mean, if you get hit once, you have to go all the way back to the beginning of the course. And the good thing is it's not a very long part of the level, but it's just kind of annoying. And yeah, all these Scooby snacks are just completely out of my reach. But yeah, I've left in these failed attempts, but there were several more after this, if you can believe it. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this. I did write down in like my notes of possible things to talk about, to mention stuff about Disney Plus, because that is a thing now. I think we're probably going to get it eventually, just because right now, at least, it's like, I think it's only like $6 a month. And they do have quite a bit of stuff that I would watch. They have older Disney stuff, they have all of the DComs, Disney Channel original movies are like prime Let's Watch and review territory, so I feel like I could get a lot of potential content out of having a Disney Plus account. On the other hand, it's yet another monthly expense, albeit a pretty small one, and I have many. And so I would need to figure that out. I'm also unemployed, so I feel weird adding any more, because I also want to get Criterion Channel. If I had my way, I would be doing a lot more kind of stuff like that. But, alas, or whatever. But I'm kind of glad that I don't have it right now, because it sounds very annoying. People have been experiencing, crashes and stuff. And, apparently, the aspect ratio is all fucked up on a bunch of things, including all the old Simpsons episodes, and a lot of the older classic Disney films are, letterboxed and pillarboxed. They have the black bars, and it's, stretched and cut off, and I don't know, I haven't used it, so I don't know exactly what is making it do this, but, that all sounds like shit. That sounds stupid. I feel like you should know how to present. That's one of the biggest things that you lose from other streaming services other than stuff like Filmstruck or Criterion, is that, or I guess just the thing that sets apart the Criterion Channel and those sorts of people who curate movies, is that people who have an academic appreciation and understanding of film as an art form, as pretentious as they may be, they know how to present them. They know how it should look, and how to make it look good, and how to make it easy to look at and to watch on different devices. And they know how to present it, how to couch it in context, and to properly give you the information of the context around it, because you're not here when it's coming out, so you have to sort of put yourself into that mindset for these older films. And it's also just good to know the sort of artistic and historical or cultural context that a film was made in. But yeah, I mean that's really gonna be one of the big things in this era of streaming services is that these companies don't have any like for lack of a better term, any love or understanding of these products that they have the rights to. They just have them. And not only are they going to put them up and take them down at their will, and Disney has already, after purchasing Fox, already started engaging in creating its artificial scarcity by putting old classic Fox studio films into their vault, which is what they used to do with their VHS and DVD releases of their classic animated films. Just so that they could make a lot of money re-releasing the same film. And I guess now, instead of doing that, they've decided that it's more cost-effective to just remake every movie as a live-action CGI film for $250 million. And you turn more of a profit that way than you do by just saying, like, oh, there's no more Blu-rays of Pinocchio, everybody. And then they're like, oh, fuck. And then, like, 10 years later, for 10 years, you just can't get it anywhere for some reason. And then they just come out and they're like, it's the new Pinocchio super long nose edition. And it's like $40, and it has, like, all new footage of the people who work at Disney right now talking about this movie. And you can buy it, and it's better quality, and you know, now they're just going to do that with all the other old shit that they own. So my advice is to do what I should start doing, which is investing in physical media. I was doing a lot of that at the end of high school. That's where the bulk of my movie collection that I have now comes from, which is by no means an extensive or impressive collection, especially by the standards of, like, people who have movie collections. You know, they're in upwards of the thousands of the people who, you know, do it seriously. But I don't have money or time, so I don't do that. A pickle. Lots of food hidden all around here that you can't get until, like, the very end. Not really entirely sure why. But yeah, we're just gonna pay one last visit to the old food cart of Shaggy's here. Get a couple more medals before we go into last couple boss fights of the game. But yeah, I went through and bought a bunch of DVDs, which now I'm mad because there are a bunch of movies that I own on DVD that I would just rather have on Blu-ray, but I gotta get back into that. Next time that I have, like, I had, like, regular income because I had a summer job in high school, so next time that I have sort of stable money, I should definitely start, you know, just going down the list of stuff that is probably not going to get a stable sort of digital release that I can rely on, which is most things. Like, that's really all it is just as long as you're relying on, like, it being streamable on the internet and on a website owned by a big corporation, like, it's extremely up in the air, and you should probably just buy it. So with that, next time I'll see you for the things.